Hello, my name is Kelly Pretzer. I'm from the City and County of San Francisco, working in the Office of Economic and Workforce Development, where I'm a project manager for new media and IT. And I wanted to talk to you this morning about DataSF and San Francisco on the road to openness. Like any good road trip, things change quickly. If I could re-propose this presentation, I would add CivicDB to the title as well, and we'll get to that in a few minutes. San Francisco has long had a history as kind of ground zero and home base for the world's greatest innovators, entrepreneurs, big thinkers, and new ideas. Our greatest asset, I would argue, is our talent, or the people who live in San Francisco and who make the city great and come up with these great ideas. So it makes sense then that there should be some parity between the public and the private space, especially when it comes to technology. Taking into account the great example that's been set both federally from the White House with Obama's memo on transparency, as well as in Vancouver, and of course can't forget Washington, D.C. Taking these into consideration, we really put together a roadmap for where San Francisco should go, not only as far as technology is concerned, but as far as our path towards openness. We came up with an OpenGov initiative that broadly concerns open participation, open source, and open data, and I want to focus on data today. On August 19th, we launched DataSF, to much fanfare. It's a portal-style clearinghouse of San Francisco City data sets, over 100 at this point now. As you can see, we have data sets, we have the ability to share them, also have the ability to rate and rank these data sets. In addition, we have suggested related data sets, kind of building in the correlation and hopefully building in synergy with all of these what might at first glance seem a little disparate. And my favorite part is that we have the space for comments to talk about the accuracy, to talk about the completeness, the thoroughness of the data sets, and to discuss what it is that we're offering here. In addition, we have the space to request new data sets that aren't available at this point, the ability to vote on those requests, also have the ability to share applications that were made with this data and to request or suggest new ideas for interesting things that could be done with them. This was, again, launched on August 19th, so just a few weeks ago. We had our mayor there, and he hung out with us for an hour and talked about what next, where do we go. This is a great first step, but how do we keep this momentum and how do we keep moving forward? And like any good San Franciscans, we turned to our backyard solution, Craigslist, and a few months ago put out a request for developers who might be interested in putting something together kind of in parallel track to DataSF, so a more enhanced, more thorough offering that we knew we couldn't do right off the bat. We came up with CivicDB, which is an open source community that is building a platform to more easily share data files. It's going to be an end-to-end kind of out-of-the-box solution with a lot of focus there on conversion of data files. You know, they might be in Excel spreadsheets now, but we know that's not the easiest way to use this information. And again, with the idea that it is out-of-the-box solution, not just for San Francisco, but for any municipality who might need to use it. This is a common problem that we're all facing, and if we can find a way to address it together, it's much more efficient. As you can see, we have a thorough wiki. We're in prototyping stage right now with CivicDB, with hope to get it out by the end of the year. And why do we do this? This map that's in front of you is a map that's created by a San Francisco firm called Stamen. It's a crime spotting map, and I have to admit, one of the most beautiful representations of crime I have seen. But this is really at the heart of it, that there are solutions that can be provided for not only the residents of San Francisco, but everyone beyond. So what have we learned so far? As I said earlier, things changed. I had no idea CivicDB would come out of this, but it's been a fun ride. I am not an open source developer. I wish that I were, but I've learned a lot myself. We've learned that we do not have a monopoly on good ideas, and especially considering where we are, you know, right at the top of Silicon Valley, we probably aren't the smartest guys in the room either. So we need to listen, we need to communicate, and we need to collaborate. But with that collaboration comes, how do you make that more meaningful? How do you make sure that that comments aren't just a fancy black hole that people's ideas will fall into? The wiki has been a great solution to that, but we're still learning, still developing, and still trying to figure out the best way to move forward on that end. And finally is to embrace the power of beta. This is definitely a first iteration and a first stab on what's a much larger and a great experiment. So while this isn't a perfect offering, it's a first offering, and we're looking forward to seeing where it moves for the city of San Francisco. Thank you so much for your time.